Curiosity is often at the forefront of everybody's mind. How do things work and what makes a product great? I'm Tony and this is Caesar from Loma Paintball. Today we are talking the complete guide to paintball tank regulators. So with that being said, the complete guide to paintball tank regulators, I'm going to ask you, pulling you out of the tech room, you work on a lot of stuff.
Yep.
What makes a paintball tank regulator great?
The internal components being either aluminum or stainless steel.
Okay.
I pulled a counterpunch out, which has the highest performance regulator on the market, as we've proven in other videos, and we're going to show you inside of it how it makes it.
So pretty much, so internal components is what makes a good reg better than, you know, a lower end reg. Aluminum components or stainless steel. And you said you have the powerhouse counterpunch here,
Correct.
right? Okay, and a lot of the components in this one are the high-end stainless steel,
Correct.
right? Insert, the cartridge, all that good stuff.
Yes.
So to you, those components make a great regulator.
Correct.
Okay.
So basically what you're doing is to get inside your regulator, always loosen up the bottom screws closest to the bottom half that releases the top bonnet off of it.
Because
Right.
the top set screws on this counterpunch regulator
Adjust the head.
okay, so that's actually a stainless steel cartridge with a rotational bonnet. So you guys, when you screw your tank on, you can move the positioning of that actual regulator so your fill nipple's not digging into your wrist or your gauge. So the rotational bonnet's a really, really nice feature.
So on most of the regulators, you've got an internal O-ring in the top to seal the pin inside here. This one is inside here. It's a white one. So that's a Teflon O-ring. So to get that out of, there's an O-ring groove that you push out of it to get that out. So basically what you can do is you can get on the outside part of it, push it in there, push it out, and that's how you replace that Teflon O-ring inside here. This part right here. That's the number one maintenance. If you feel that it's leaking out of the top of this the reg head, it's right here. That's that O-ring, the Teflon O-ring.
Okay, that sits in there. So if you're
Yep.
leaking out of there, you might want to replace that Teflon O-ring that
Correct.
sits down in the top.
Yes, sir.
Okay, on to the actual piston and the wave spring itself.
So if you're ever having a problem with it leaking through the two halves, which would be here and here, that would be this piston O-ring right here. That is the culprit to usually leaking through the top half and the bottom half of the regulator.
So pretty much where that regulator connects and actually finishes
Yep.
the seat, if you were leaking out of there, it's probably going to be the O-ring on your
right
piston.
here.
Okay.
Right here. So, and then you have your pin with your spring that's inside the piston. So make sure that that's always clean, no dirt, no debris, and then that just slides back in there. Then on the bottom side of the piston.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
So on the bottom side of the piston, you have this is seals where the actual wave, it goes through the wave spring, it goes through the adjustable, and then goes down to the orifice. I'll get into that in a little bit. So these two O-rings right here seals any pressure, regulator pressure coming up. So it has to go through these holes here, which is the ports of the actual piston. That's how it gets regulated and then goes up into the pin and out to your gun. This is your actual ball. This is the regulator seat.
That's what I was going to get as the reg seat. A lot of those go bad.
Yes.
And people have fluctuating pressure issues, right?
Correct. I would recommend rebuilding the regulator at least once a year.
I always called it like a little black hockey puck. A lot of reg seats, that one's more like a ball. But
Correct.
that little black ball on the bottom of your reg piston is going to be something you want to make sure there's a lot of dings or dents in. You guys are going to want to replace that.
Yep. So if you're playing minimum once a weekend, I would rebuild this regulator once a year. I know guys that play 2-3 times a week, and they'll have the regulator rebuilt at events every time they play. So
I mean, could be a little excessive, obviously, but hey,
Yeah.
you guys want consistency. Make sure you guys, no dirt, no grime, no crap in there. Speaking of that real quick before you jump into your next thing, since it's a counterpunch, and speaking of a complete guide for, you know, a paintball tank reg, these are preset right around 450, right?
Correct.
Dyno tested, pressure, leak tested for 24 hours before they're sent out. So that is what makes a great paintball regulator. They are dyno tested to make sure the consistency is on, and also leak tested for 24 hours, so making sure you guys are getting the best product possible. So let's dive in a little bit more.
So now that you've got all this part taken care of, you want to get inside the actual orifice, which is inside through the adjustment down inside there. I don't know if you can see it.
That piece in there that you're saying it's the adjustment, that's actual for your pressure.
This is to adjust the pressure that adjusts your wave spring, basically. So if you unscrew these on a counterpunch, it increases your pressure. Screwing them in decreases the pressure.
And that reg can go anywhere from 350 to 650, but stock, from factory it's at 450.
Correct.
So it's got adjustable in there, once again, making it what is a great paintball regulator, one that you guys can fully adjust. So go ahead.
So, and then if you want to get inside and clean the orifice, basically that is the jet where the air is coming through your bottle. On these, that's the high-end version of it.
So obviously those threads are those threads are there. So your air is coming up through your bottle and then
inside here, and it goes through the jet, which is the orifice. These orifices are removable to where you can take it out, and if you ever have a problem with it, if they deem it to be bad, you can remove it and rebuild it. You don't have to get a brand new regulator. A lot of the aftermarket, like this one here is the only one that's adjustable, and the only one that's rebuildable. All the other orifices on the aluminum tanks are actually, that's it, it's the aluminum tank. So lifespan of that may be 2 years for an aluminum one. The stainless steel ones can last longer than that.
Well, that's exactly why I think Counterpunch or Powerhouse went with stainless steel components, because it lasts a lot longer than that aluminum getting beat up on.
So if you want to get inside there, get a Q-tip, get inside the orifice and go completely around and wipe the inside of that, cleaning off the orifice. There's nothing on that, it's just a brand new reg. So basically, you want to wipe the inside cavity around the orifice. So.
And then before we end that, is there much more? Are you don't have to take all that out, right? That's just the adjuster.
That's just the adjuster. But the main part is where this ball seats against that.
And you want to make sure there's no dirt, no debris, nothing down in there
whatsoever. And that's what it causes your regulator fluctuation.
Okay.
Is though that component that inside there and that ball.
And would you recommend? People are going to ask, any lube, any grease? I know you don't want to put oil in here, right?
No, you don't want to put any oil going into your bottle. Basically, what it's doing is it's going into your bottle. You don't want
oil. We're not
going here. What you're doing is your Powerhouse gives you a silicone grease that you can apply on there, which is a PSF 20,000 silicone grease. It's a very tacky grease. So basically, it's this same stuff as in here. So it's very.
Oh, that does look sticky.
Yeah, it's very thick. I mean.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So what I do is when I'm putting it back together, I just take that.
Just a little bit. I feel like
that's all you got to do, like that.
The thin coating on the O-rings.
Yep.
So you're going to do all of the piston O-rings?
Yeah, you're talking just
a little drizzle of that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's it. You do those parts right there, and then when you assemble it, you're assembling it back in. You got the wave spring, and then you go back inside there, and then you've got the actual pin and spring that goes in like that. So you've already got grease on that. So, and then you can go ahead and put your top bonnet on, screw it on.
Well, sir, I thank you for your time coming out of the tech room, the complete guide to paintball tank regulators, what makes them good, what makes them not so good. Shop the best, it's LoneWolfPaintball.com.